America feels different lately. There's a tension in the air, quiet, heavy, like the moment before a storm breaks open across the sky. It's not a storm of weather, but of power, secrets, and suspicion. Across the country, people sit in their living rooms, scrolling through breaking headlines, watching late-night emergency reports, wondering if the institutions they grew up trusting are collapsing under the weight of politics, corruption, and fear. This is not just another news cycle. It is a national reckoning. A battle in the shadows. A moment when Americans are asking, who can we trust? Who is protecting the truth? And who is burying it? It begins deep inside Washington, where the Department of Justice, once the symbol of American fairness, has undergone a seismic shift. Entire divisions dedicated to fighting corruption have been dismantled, senior prosecutors forced out, anti-corruption watchdogs fired, reassigned, or silenced. The Public Integrity Section, which once put governors, senators, and powerful business leaders behind bars, is now a ghost of its former self. Its hallways feel colder, offices sit empty, phones that once rang with whistleblower tips now gather dust, and within the FBI, the changes are even more alarming. A specialized corruption squad, agents trained to uncover bribery, contract fraud, and political schemes, has been disbanded. Many of the agents who spent their careers tracking public corruption have been reassigned to unrelated cases. Some have left entirely, giving dark interviews off the record, warning that something is terribly wrong. For ordinary Americans, the consequences aren't abstract, they are terrifying. Because when the people who investigate corruption are removed, what happens to the corruption itself? Then came the leaks, damaging memos, secret recordings, internal reports that should have stayed buried suddenly spilling into the public. Whistleblowers speaking out anonymously, claiming political interference inside the FBI, agents allegedly blocking sensitive investigations, sometimes leaking details selectively, other times burying them completely. It became a maze of truth and deception, with the public caught in the middle. But these leaks were only the beginning. As the institutions trembled, real cases, high-profile ones, exploded onto the national stage. The first shock was the investigation into Tom Homan, once one of the most hardline immigration enforcers in the nation. The accusation was stunning, that he accepted large payments from undercover operatives posing as businessmen seeking government contracts, years ago. An allegation like that would have shaken Washington to its core. But in this new era, an era where political alliances mattered more than investigative evidence, the case dissolved. Closed abruptly. Permanently. To some, it felt like justice. To others, like a message: the powerful now operate under a different set of rules. And then, the case that tore the country in half. Letitia James, New York's Attorney General. A woman whose rise to power was built on holding the rich and influential accountable. She became a household name for taking on Donald Trump in one of the most explosive civil fraud suits in American history. Banks, financial statements, inflated assets, the kind of case that can end careers and shatter legacies. She won in court. A staggering judgment was issued. It sent shockwaves across the world. But suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, Letitia James herself was indicted. Bank fraud. Mortgage deception. Charges that, to her supporters, felt like the ultimate political ambush. To her critics, it was proof she was never the hero she claimed to be. To her supporters, it was retaliation, pure and simple. To the rest of America, it was confusing, frightening, and symbolic of something unraveling at the core of the justice system. Because if the prosecutor can be prosecuted, if the investigator can be investigated, if the people meant to hold power accountable can be silenced or destroyed, who is left to protect the public? Across American cities, more scandals began surfacing like cracks in the foundation. Mayors accused of bribery, representatives indicted on federal charges, local officials caught in pay-to-play schemes. Each case felt like a piece of a larger, darker puzzle forming across the nation, and with anti-corruption units defanged, the timing felt too convenient. Meanwhile, inside Congress, tempers flared. Hearings turned into shouting matches. Lawmakers accused each other of treason, betrayal, or cover-ups. Some demanded stronger oversight. Others demanded investigations into the investigators, creating a dizzying loop of accusations with no end in sight. As the months passed, the American public grew more divided and more afraid. Polls showed declining trust in every major institution: judges, prosecutors, law enforcement, even elections. It felt like the entire country was suspended in uncertainty, looking for a single person or institution they could rely on. But beneath all the chaos was something deeper, something more human. People wanted to believe in justice again. Parents wanted their children to grow up in a nation where the truth mattered. Small business owners wanted fairness. Teachers wanted stability. Veterans wanted integrity. And ordinary Americans wanted to know that the law applied equally to everyone. Yet every new leak, every new scandal, every new political battle painted a different picture. A picture of a justice system overwhelmed, politicized, and caught in a tug-of-war between power and principle. As Letitia James battled to clear her name, as whistleblowers risked everything to expose internal corruption, as high-profile investigations were opened, closed, reopened, leaked, and spun, one truth became impossible to ignore: America is in a fight for its soul. Not in the streets, not on the battlefield, but inside the institutions meant to protect it. This is not just a story about politicians or prosecutors. It is a story about us, about a nation asking whether justice still means anything when the powerful can bend its shape. Because what happens next will define an era. Will the country restore its guardians of integrity? Will the investigations continue or be buried forever? Will the truth survive the political firestorm? Or will the storm consume it? Only one thing is certain: this moment will be remembered. Not as a chapter, but as a turning point. A test of democracy, of courage, and of the nation's belief in justice itself. And as Americans watch, breath held, heart pounding, waiting for the next leak, the next rest, the next political twist, one question echoes louder than all the rest: who guards the truth when the guardians are under fire?